What do Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, the show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general, the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, the Golden Hard Dog. Well, guys, just coming back from a fairly lengthy absence here. I had a conference down in Orlando with the American College of Osteopathic Family Physicians. Good conference down there. It was at Disney World, so I got to enjoy a little bit of Disney while I was down there as well. A lot of good topics, some less so, but that's kind of how all conferences go. But I am back with you today to kind of talk about some things that happened in the last week and a half or so since I was last able to speak with you guys. I did post a couple of shorts as news came out last week. The biggest news being the Calais Campbell signing. 1-year deal for the Falcons. I'm trying to look now and see if we have any information on the money in that contract. It looks like it's going to be a $7 million deal that could be up to $9 million. Very team-friendly deal for the Falcons for a fairly productive veteran. Even if he is a little long in the tooth, he is and has been productive for basically his entire career. And he has basically done something that Arthur Smith wanted, or Arthur Blank and Arthur Smith. They both want our defensive line to be violent. So, what have we done to improve that over the offseason? We already had Grady Jarrett. We re-signed him last year. He's been a pretty solid defensive tackle, but he's been playing a role that really is not meant for him. He is certainly more of a pass-rushing defensive tackle, and he's been forced to play more of a nose tackle position. And then kind of the same thing, David Onyemata has played a large number of positions. He's basically played all the different roles of a tackle, defensive tackle on the New Orleans Saints defensive line. But now we have this new guy, Calais Campbell, coming in, who is a veteran who has been in the league for, I think, 16 or 17 years at this point, and has been highly productive, 6'8", over 300 pounds, huge frame. He is going to soak up bodies and runners in the middle of the field. He may be moved out to edge, and he is going to be a nightmare for any guard or tackle trying to stop him, just like he has been for his entire career. And now you are going to have 3 different guys that you potentially will have to double team if you are a offensive line going up against the Falcons. And this also, again, I've said it time and time again, a lot of your best edge rushers in the league, they do create their own pressure, but they also have solid components within the line, within the tackle position to help offset pressure. So now you're going to open the field up for Lorenzo Carter. You're going to open up the offensive backfield for Lorenzo Carter to get back there and make a sack. You're going to do the same thing for Arnold Ebiketie on the other side. So now you have to block these guys. And can you imagine, even our 3-man rush, we could ostensibly put in Calais Campbell, Grady Jarrett, and David Onyemata without putting anybody else in, and at least 2 of those guys are going to need to be double teamed. So that opens up a lot more that you can do in coverage. It just helps the team out overall because you no longer are worried about the run game as much. You believe that you have some guys that can actually get some pressure on the quarterback. So I am really excited for these moves overall. And as I am doing that, I'm just making sure that I pull up Calais Campbell's PFF. I do have some additional information to go off of here. So last year he had 6 sacks, 18 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 10 assisted tackles. He was a 77.2 grade overall. He played in 156 run defense snaps and 377 pass rush snaps. So obviously Calais Campbell is meant to be more of a pass rusher. So I love that move. I think it is really an impressive signing for the Falcons. We are starting to come up against what we can spend in free agency. And the biggest reason for that is we have to have about $8 or $9 million of the cap that we still have left to sign rookie players. And we do need to keep that to the side. So we only have about 10-ish million, give or take a little bit, to sign anybody else going forward. And we did make a couple of other signings here. But what I do want to talk about with Calais Campbell, we have now focused incredibly on the defensive tackle position, particularly defensive interior position. So, what does that mean for everybody's favorite Georgia player who has been slowly but surely falling down draft boards? I personally think that Jalen Carter will be taken 5, 6, or 7 by one of the teams picking there. I think they would be absolutely insane not to take somebody with his upside. Yes, he had a bad pro day. Yes, he was like 10 pounds heavier. But what you got to remember is 10 pounds for him is like being overweight 2 or 3 pounds to you and me. So he is a guy who can very quickly get back to elite athletic conditioning. And again, he has not given anybody in a performance reason, like actual game time performance, he has not given anybody reason to not believe he can do it. His NFL Combine was freaking phenomenal. So I don't know why everybody's making this a big deal out of one bad day. He had one bad day. It was a pro day. It was a big day for him, but it was one bad day. So he is still a solid player. But even if he is available for the Falcons at pick number 8, I am not sure they're going to take him. I would love to take him if he's pick 8. I think it's a slam dunk to take him, especially given that Calais Campbell is on a 1-year deal, so you're going to need to have somebody else eventually. I'd love to have him, but I don't think he is going to end up being there for the Falcons. I do think we're going to end up probably looking at somebody like Tyree Wilson. We may end up looking at a corner at that position. Another guy that the Falcons have been very enamored with is Luke Van Ness. He's a little bit bigger for the edge position, which is more what Nielsen does tend to like in his edge rushers, or at least historically from the last 6 years what he likes in his edge rushers. So I think he has an edge over another Georgia player that I love, Nolan Smith, who is a little smaller but still has great technique. He missed a lot of this past year with an injury, but he's going to be better and he's going to be fine when he goes to the NFL. He's going to make some team very, very happy. I just think the Falcons may pass on him because we all know they don't like to draft Georgia Bulldogs in the first round anyway. For whatever reason, that is to their detriment, but hey, whatever. So other moves moving on that the Falcons have made. Scotty Miller, wide receiver formerly for Tampa Bay, who had a great connection with Tom Brady but hardly ever saw the field because he was not really their top option there, not even their top 3 options for most of Tom Brady's career, having Gronk, Evans, and Chris Godwin down there. But when he was on the field, when he was asked to play that wide receiver 2 role or the slot receiver role, he played it admirably. He's a guy that I think immediately comes in and is probably fighting for the wide receiver 2 position behind or with Matt Collins coming in. So again, I think we're going to have a wide receiver 2 battle here. I do look for us to draft a wide receiver on day 2 or 3, and I think that will make the wide receiver room just a little bit more interesting. That drafted guy could end up for the first part of the season being like the wide receiver 3 or 4. And depending on how well he progresses, whoever it may be, that's somebody that could easily move up into the wide receiver 2 role. But that's just kind of my thoughts on that. Other moves that we have made, we've only really made one more that I can recall off the top of my head. I know we signed Jermaine Urfetti, who's been on the team as kind of a rotational component. Kind of more of a swing tackle position. And we did bring in another swing tackle, former Arizona Cardinals Joshua Miles, drafted in the 7th round in 2019. Has not played a whole lot in the recent past. He didn't play at all in 2022, I don't think. He missed the entire season in 2022. So he's on a 1-year kind of prove-it deal. I don't know the details of that yet, but it should be a very, very small contract. He does, in the limited snaps he had in 2021 at right tackle, he has an 81.3 passer grade by PFF. But again, he played a grand total of 20 snaps in the offensive line in 2021. Didn't play at all in 2020. Didn't play at all in 2022. And in 2019, he only had 3 snaps together. So this is a guy who has basically no experience in the NFL, more or less is now an older rookie, if you want to consider him that. He's going to be 27 and a half years old at the start of the season. Big guy, 314 pounds, 6'5", former Morgan State Bear. I don't know enough about him to really talk about him other than what I'm reading off of PFF right now, but I just know he has not played a lot of snaps in the NFL, and that is why I think he is going to be a rotational component at best. And again, I don't know that he is somebody that we're going to be looking to fill a role if we needed him. He's going to be more of a practice squad guy or, a deep depth position pick. But guys, that's all I got for you today. I just wanted to talk about some of the moves we've made. We are ever inching closer to the NFL draft later on this year. I will be doing a live stream of that event, and I still have to work out the details with one of my contacts in the NFL. But again, incredibly grateful for this gentleman for agreeing to take time with me to do an interview. Former Falcons player who's still playing. I'm going to try to get an interview with him done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, his schedule permitting. Want to do this on his time, not mine. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please consider hitting the like button, sharing this video. Subscribing is a major help. I am really trying to hit 500 plus subscribers by the end of next season. We have kind of hit a slowdown on subscribers, so it would mean a lot to me if you would just hit that subscribe button and just kind of follow along with me and help this channel grow. Would love to become one of the guys that talks about the Falcons on a regular basis that people enjoy watching. Please let me know if you have any comments down below, anything that you think I could do better, anything you would like to hear me talk about more. But anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching, and as always, rise up.